Hey there YouTube, how's it going? Nerdy Narwhal here, and I'm back again today with another 1/12 scale Mythic Legions action figure review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Cavern Dwarf builders. This is the first builder that I'm going to have featured on my channel, as well as the first Dwarven figure that I'm going to have be featured on my channel. First of all, really cool figure, builders. Let's talk about builders real quick. If you buy them secondarily from a store like BBTS or maybe Empire Toy Shop, Mallfish Collectibles, anywhere that isn't the initial Kickstarter for the figures, they generally cost about 10 bucks left, or less. So 50 bucks will get you a main named figure, and 40 bucks is going to get you a builder. And the thing about builders are they're made with less production value. So you get a static colored figure. These guys were originally all just bronze-ish color, and that's it. But they come with a lot of options. So they make it really easy for you to army build, essentially, to build your own legion. Hence why they're called legion builders. The nice thing about them, though, is that because they're just that static color when you get them out of the box, that's basically, as far as I understand painting, the base coat for you to slap your own paint scheme on there and really take it to the next level. Now, I'm not a professional painter by any means, and I've only slapped paint on plastic a very few times, but even I, without really nice paints, I used whatever the heck I found in my garage that was 10 years old from my grandma's craft closet. And I basically got what is a pretty nice looking patina to this armor, because I assumed because of the color, these armors that they're wearing was made out of some kind of copper alloy like bronze. And so over time it would get a patina, because that's what happens to copper, right? So that's what I did to sort of kick them up to the next notch. But you could really do whatever you wanted. You could slap heavy blacks on there and try to give them the same scheme as King Bromden Ironjaw, because canonically he is the king of the Cavern Dwarves, which these guys are. And that's why I have two of them in my collection, and felt like this is a figure that I really wanted to army build, is so they could go behind King Bromden or Ironjaw as basically his honor guard or his king's guard. Anyways, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off this rotating display base and dive in for a quick look at the articulation of the figures. Because this is our first Dwarven Legion builder and Dwarven body featured on this channel, I figured we should probably go over the articulation of it a little bit. So I'm going to take this guy and strip him of his armament, including his horned helmet, so we can really dive in there and get a good look at him. So first, that head is on a ball joint, which allows for a good enough range of motion. The ball joint is connected to a swivel joint at the neck, which allows for some really good looking left, looking right poses there. The arms hinge and swivel. It's basically just like the knight's bodies, but smaller. Elbows hinge and swivel, hands hinge and swivel, and then a cut up there at the top of the gauntlet, cut right there in the leg, hinge and swivel at the knees, coolio, and then those awesome ankles and the hips you can go crazy with, make them do the splits, whatever you want. Like every other Mythic Legions figure, they were made with a really good articulation scheme that's at the same time minimalist and at the same time super effective. It's not over the top like some Japanese import figures can be. I'm looking at you, Rebel Tech. What the heck is wrong with your figures? But it's not dull and completely hindered like, to use another line that the Four Horsemen, the people who make these Mythic Legion figures, have worked on, the older McFarlane figures, where they're really much more like a statue than an actual action figure. So now I'm going to go in here with my camera up close, we've looked at the articulation, and show you just what I was able to do without really any prior paint knowledge to give these guys sort of a better look than what they came out in the box. You can see I went in there and basically just did a green wash to everywhere that the armor had details that I thought I could bring out with that simple wash. And I mixed yellow, gray, white, and black, I think, to get that greenish color with these old acrylics that were in my garage. Watered them down a ton and then just started slapping it on the figure. And it really does look pretty good for a patina, which is exactly what I was going for. Very slight patina to the copper alloy armor. So, yeah, there's that. I might actually do, even though I'm super novice at it, the next time I do any sort of paints, I might record it and put it on as kind of a tutorial. Or maybe my buddy who will also be putting out some videos here in a little bit can do it. Anyways, the nice part about painting these figures is how forgiving it is to do. Like I said, they're completely modular, so you can pop off the head, pop off the arms, pop off the torso, pop off the waist piece, pop off the legs individually, and you really go at it, bing, bang, boom, and do exactly what you want to do to each individual piece of the figure without having to worry about what you're doing to one arm affecting the torso if the paint bleeds over to it. So super forgiving figures all around, which is awesome. Oh, and then on this guy, you might be able to tell I added some grays to the beard to just kind of bring out some of the details in his beard and make it something instead of just that static black. Super simple to do. Didn't take me too much time. Didn't require too much knowledge. Now let's talk about the accessories that these guys come with. As you can see, they come with this axe. They come with this axe, which, just a little bit different. All the weapons that they come with are going to be that same flat bronze kind of color, so you'll have to paint them up yourself if that's what you want to do. Comes with this awesome Dwarven Warhammer thing that I actually have one of these posed with gonks right now. One of my favorite goblins next to Snag. They come with this super cool Dwarven shield. And then you get 2 head sculpts with each figure. You get this one that has sort of the armored beard look, and you get this one, which is opened at the mouth to allow for that luscious dwarven beard to flow out. You get these bull horns, which are super great. And here's the thing about these guys being army builders. You, and I've seen people do it, can do so much with these horns to get a different look for your figure. So maybe one figure has the horns going straight up, as I did. You can have them going forward like that. You can completely flip-flop what side of the figure the horns are on to give it yet another look. And really, you almost have to buy multiples of these guys if you're trying to army build with them. And you can get so many different looks for the same thing. And that's not to mention what you can do if you put these on this head sculpt. I only have 2, and I still find myself going in there often and switching up what I have them displayed with. Because it's just there's so many options. So many different things you can do to build, in my case, King Bromden Ironjaw's Kingsguard. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm pretty sure they also come with one of these little swords here, or should I say big swords. That's great. Not really my first choice of weapon for a dwarf. I think that, I like my dwarves to have that classic fantasy axes and hammers and stuff like that. So that's what my dwarves come with. And they come with these orcish pauldrons like that. Now, because the dwarves are on a smaller body, but still a very bulky body, I almost never find myself using the pauldrons, because while you do have a great range of motion when it comes to head articulation, without them, once you put them on, you are severely limited. Here's the dwarf that doesn't have a beard, and now he can barely get his head going this way and getting that way, also because the ears, not the ears, but you know, the things sticking out of his helmet are going to hinder him. And the dwarf that has the beard, once these pauldrons go on, you basically forget about moving that head too much. So I use pauldrons very sparingly with my dwarf bodies, which is why I didn't even slap any paint on those bad boys. But yeah, that's about it. Let me stick this dwarf back on there. I also like to get not really super dynamic poses, but it's nice to be able to raise the weapons up above head level, which you can do. Get him in a pose like he's charging forward, ready to bring that axe down, basically just opposite of what that other Legion builder is doing right here. There we go. Something like that. And this pose would be more or less impossible to really do well with that pauldron armor on. So I just kind of forget about them, for the dwarves at least. But that's okay, because all of these pieces go into my Mythic Legions box, and then bada bing bada boom, when the time is right, I'll use them on a custom figure. So why did I buy these Cavern Dwarves? I said it a couple of times. For me, I thought it'd be cool to have a little bit of an army behind King Bromden Ironjaw, who canonically in the lore is the master of all these dwarves. So real quick, I'm going to pull them up here and recreate the display that I have for them in my own collection for you guys to see kind of what I'm doing with them, and maybe give you some ideas for what you want to do with them. Maybe you want these dwarves to be the honored guard of Thord Ironjaw, or maybe you want these dwarves to be some of the dissenters that went with Torgon Redfin when he fled to the wasteland. That's all your choice. Maybe you don't care about the lore of Mythic Legions and it's all going on in your own head, and that's super cool too. That's what originally got me into the line. I'm just a junkie for lore, so eventually I got sucked in to what they were trying to do also. Pop these in like this. Pop those horns back in. Give him this axe and a shield. And I apologize for doing all of this off camera. I don't have like the biggest review table setup sort of a thing, so you know, it's hard to get my hands inside of that little light box sometimes. But there we go. We have Kingsguard, and now let's bring in the king. There we go. King Bromden Ironjaw with his attendants, who are Cavern Dwarves. And that's basically why I got them. I got them to go with Bromden as members of Bromden's army. Cool. And that looks pretty great to me. I think that's awesome. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much going to wrap up this review. If I left anything out, or you have some nagging questions about these Cavern Dwarf Legion builders, please do let me know. Get at me in the comments. I'd love to get a dialogue going with you. Otherwise, thanks for checking out my review. Stay happy, stay healthy, and keep on collecting. Bye-bye.